Recorded vote is ordered. As previously announced, further proceedings on the question will be postponed. Our next item for consideration is H.R. 9566, the Source Code Harmonization and Reuse in Information Technology, or Share It Act. The clerk will please designate.
H.R. 9566, the Source Code Harmonization and Reuse in Information Technology Act, a bill to require government-wide source code sharing and for other purposes.
Without objection, the bill shall be considered as read and open for amendment at any point without objection to order. The chair recognizes himself to offer an amendment in the nature of a substitute. The clerk will please designate the amendment.
An amendment in the nature of a substitute to H.R. 9566 is offered by Mr. Comer of Kentucky.
Without objection, the amendment is considered as read, and the substitute will be considered as original text for the purposes of further amendment. I now recognize myself for 5 minutes on the amendment. Each year, the federal government spends about $6 billion on software. Much of this spending goes toward developing custom code to support specific agency programs and service delivery. The Share It Act would require agencies to share their custom code with other federal agencies. Without a requirement to share this custom code, agencies may hire contractors to reproduce the same solution that the government has already paid for at another agency. To reduce redundant and unnecessary costs, once one agency invests in developing custom code, that code should be made available to other agencies looking to solve a similar problem. This bill mandates that agencies publicly list custom code they make or buy and share this code with the rest of the government. Further, this bill appropriately exempts from disclosure code for national security systems, classified code, or code whose disclosure would create an identifiable risk to individual privacy. I encourage my colleagues to support this straightforward, good government bill, and I want to thank Representative Langworthy for his leadership on this smart, forward-thinking technology legislation. I now yield to the ranking member for his statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Every year, federal agencies spend billions purchasing software, including custom-developed code for websites, public databases, and mobile apps to improve the public's experience using government services. But too often, agencies keep custom-developed code for internal use rather than sharing it across the federal government. This undermines interoperability, security, efficiency, and certainly cost-effectiveness in the federal government's acquisition and use of software. The bill seeks to address these problems. In 2016, President Obama released a federal source code policy requiring that custom source code developed specifically by or for the federal government be made available for reuse by all federal agencies. Among other things, the policy required the GSA to create code.gov to facilitate code sharing among agencies. As of 2019, code.gov featured more than 6,000 code bases from 26 different federal agencies. Despite this success, many of the 24 largest agencies required to post their custom-developed code inventory to code.gov under the policy have not yet done so. And the policy lacks an effective enforcement mechanism to establish compliance. To improve compliance and further unlock the benefits of sharing custom-built code, the Shared Act would require agencies to publicly list the custom code they purchase or produce and to share such code along with the key technical components, either publicly or government-wide. Among other things, it assigns agency chief information officers the responsibility of overseeing compliance. I support the purpose of this bill, which is to promote innovation, collaboration, efficiency, and better value for the American people. However, as the administration has pointed out, it will require several key improvements before it can truly live up to its promise. Most importantly, federal entities will need additional funding to effectively meet the requirements of the bill. I implore my colleagues to continue soliciting and addressing feedback from federal agencies to ensure that the bill is fully implementable, and I do look forward to our continued work together towards that goal. I yield back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Sponsor of the bill, Mr. Langworthy from New York.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am very proud to have introduced the Source Code Harmonization and Reuse in Information Technology Act, also known as the Share It Act. This is a straightforward, common-sense measure that would require federal agencies to share custom-developed software code with one another. Each year, the federal government spends around $6 billion on software, a portion of which goes towards developing custom code. These investments are often necessary for managing complex government programs, but without code sharing, we see redundancy. As agencies pay contractors to recreate solutions the government has already funded elsewhere. This siloing of information by government agencies for no good reason is a clear waste of taxpayer dollars and a waste of time as innovative solutions are not shared across the federal government. In 2016, the Office of Management and Budget introduced a federal source code policy that led to the creation of code.gov, which provides access to more than $1 billion worth of custom code. But this policy lacked proper accountability or enforcement mechanism to realize the potential of this new policy. Today, 13 agencies still don't share their code, resulting in duplicative acquisitions, millions in taxpayer dollars wasted on solutions that have already been arrived at but are ultimately siloed away. The Share It Act fixes this problem. My bill would mandate that agencies publicly list and share their custom code, ending this siloing and saving taxpayer dollars. Additionally, my bill includes reasonable safeguards exempting sensitive or classified information from these new requirements. Finally, the Share It Act would also hold the chief information officers accountable for ensuring code is listed and shared across agencies and requires the federal CIO to report to Congress on compliance. I'd like to thank my colleague, Representative Timmons, for his support of this bill, and I urge the rest of my colleagues to support this straightforward legislation to improve efficiency, encourage innovation, and save taxpayers' precious resources. I yield back.
Seeing none, the question is now on the amendment in the nature of a substitute. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The amendment is agreed to. The question is now in favorably reporting H.R. 9566 as amended. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Chair recognizes Mr. Fry.
I request a recorded vote.
A recorded vote is ordered. As previously announced, further proceedings on the question will be postponed.